Hello, everyone. I'm Jackie Hoffman, and this is the People Chronicles. And each week we have ourselves a special guest. And this week we have Gerald Mayo, who is joining us. And it is so nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us, Gerald.
Thanks for inviting me.
The People Chronicles gives you a platform to tell your story. And everybody, no matter who you are, has a story. And today, Gerald is going to let everyone know what you can learn from Gerald's story. So give us the answer to that question to start things off.
I think what you can learn from Gerald's story is a point where you come from nothing or very bitter angriness into really humility and the need to give back to the community that you come from.
And I had the opportunity to meet you a couple of weeks ago, and I met you through Dan Clauser, who has also been a part of the People Chronicles. And I asked you how you met Dan. And from there, your story just kind of blossomed. So how did you meet Dan Clauser, who's very well known?
I met Dan at the gallery above the square at 528 5th Street. And he was reading a bio on me. I'm an artist here. I do a number of shows. In fact, February I will be presenting 7 independent shows for Black History Month. And when he was reading the bio, he just happened to look at me and said, are you Gerald Mayo? And I said, yes, I am. He said, well, I can tell you're a person of integrity, which I don't know about all that. But anyway, when he told me what he does as far as the Berks Baseball League and stuff and with the kids, I was really impressed. I'm into kids. Like I told you, I have about, no exaggeration, between first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, over 700 nieces and nephews.
That's a lot of Christmas presents.
Yes, it is. Well, there's 16 siblings in my family. So I was impressed with him, and obviously he was impressed with me. And he said, do you mind if I introduce you to a few people? I said, no, Dan, quite. And we were at get off of me and him. We were actually at the gallery to perform serving the homeless, which I do a lot of community work like that. I worked at Providence House as a volunteer for years. And it was an opportunity for me to give back to some of the people that have supported me in my artwork, and that's what I am, an artist primarily, and relate to them. I know what it's like to be homeless. In fact, right now I'm only one step from being homeless, as a lot of people. So it's just, I just felt but for the grace of God, that could be me. So why not give back to him?
And have you always been an artist? Has this been?
I've been an artist since the first year the Laurels Park School opened up. I was in 6th grade, and I participated in an art program with no anticipation of winning anything, and I won first place at 14, and I never stopped painting since. I've been painting ever since. So I've been exhibited all over this country, as I told you. I have a great following of people that know my artwork immediately by some of my styles, no matter where it is, here, California, Florida. They can look at it and say, this is Gerald Mayo's paintings.
Now, when they see the name Gerald Mayo and they read a little bit about your biography, what does it tell people?
What it tells people that in the 60s, I was actively involved in the struggle. I got into a confrontation with the police. I ended up going to prison for 1.5 to 6 years. The amazing conclusion was I ended up doing 35 straight years, 17 of them in total isolation.
So we have to back that up, because you just go over it and breeze over it so lightly, because to the human ear, what they hear is someone who says they had been put away for 1 to 6 years, which turned into 35 years.
Straight years. It was that I was what they considered at that time a nonconformist, and I guess I'm still considered a nonconformist. And I couldn't adjust to incarceration. I probably never could, no matter how old I get.
What did you do?
I had a number of confrontations. I had a confrontation from the day that I came in.
Because you didn't feel as though you belonged there in the first
place. No, I
place.
didn't. And I rebelled against being there. And when they confronted me, and keep in mind, you're talking about a young man that went to prison at 17 years old, that boxed here in Reading for 9 years and had a record of 44-0. So I wasn't timid. That's the first thing. I knew I could take care of myself. I knew I could represent myself physically. But it took me almost 25 years into my sentence to learn that that wasn't the way to go. In fact, I didn't realize until I read an old Chinese proverb which says, how odd is man to think that he can challenge nature, which creates tornadoes, hurricanes, thunderstorms, without a sustained force of prolongivity, without actually killing themselves. And for a while I pondered that and said, you know what, that's right. Who am I to think that I can stand here and constantly run my head against this wall, against the system, and sustain my sanity, my physical ability, and still return to society as a productive citizen? And once that dawned on me, I kind of slowed down. There was other mitigating factors, like my mother dying while I was in there was like someone sticking a pin in a balloon and taking all the air off of me. I'm saying a number of other family members dying. And I just realized that I was wasting my time. And you're talking about, I was, like I told you when we were on our way here, I went to school for psychology while I was doing time. I was teaching for Lombok Institute, getting young people GEDs and stuff. And it was really fulfilling. The most fulfilling thing to me is when a young guy came back one day and seen me. And he brought his little girl who was about 4 years old, and he said, do you know who this is? And I said, who are you talking to, me or her? He said, I'm talking to her. And she said, no. He said, this is your grandfather. Well, no, it wasn't. But I understood the honor he was bestowing upon me. And this was one of the kids that came in there as young that got his GED. And he said, I told you I could do this. I'm back. I'm going to college. And this is your granddaughter, whether you believe it or not, because I never had a father like you. When I came in here, you didn't take advantage of me. All you tried to do was lift me up and move me on. And that was the most important thing to me, to give back in there. And my dream was to come home and give back to my community whenever I got out. And eventually, as I told you, I had, my original sentence was 20 to 23 to 20 to 99. And a lady named Barbara Boxer, who was head of the parole board, said, I don't understand what you're doing here. I don't condone anything you've done here, but you don't belong here.
All it takes is one person
Yes.
to believe in you.
And she said, I can do this for you. That 2099 no longer exists. Your max is now 2023. And I hope you don't disappoint me. I'm letting you go. And that was 11 years ago. And since then, I've been doing whatever I can, like I promised I would do, to show the youth that there is an alternative to out there on the street. There's an alternative to everything. It just takes someone to show and care about them and respect them enough to know, and that they know that they can't take advantage of, that I'm not weak, that I'm not buying any crap, but I will be able to give them whatever I can with love and uncommitted devotion if they really want an alternative to life. And that's my whole thing. I'm saying, again, the art only falls into place as secondary. I'm saying, as an artist, I paint what I paint. And what I paint is not what I see. I really paint what I feel. And every art session that I've ever taught has been teaching people to paint what they feel as opposed to what they see.
You know, Gerald, as I hear your story, I feel anger and I feel a lot of emotion because of you having to lose so much time in your life. And that's what you did. But it seems as though while you were away, you gained so much more.
I did. I met some amazing people. And a misconception of people about people that serve time is this. The 17 years that I told you I did in isolation, I served on death row. I didn't belong on death row. I didn't kill anybody. But that's where they put me at. They consider me incorrigible, an instigator. And like I told you, I'm probably one of the only prisoners that's been to the United States Supreme Court. Won one case, lost the other one. But the amazing thing is, not pat myself on the back, is that I learned so much from people in there that had been on that death row to not one university, but two universities, despite their crime. And it was a remarkable experience. In fact, have you ever seen the movie Silence of the Lamb?
I have.
Well, I'm going to give you some information which a lot of people aren't familiar with. The guy, Wild Bill,
Oh, yeah.
I lived right next door to him. I'm
Wow.
saying for 5 years. And the experience I learned from him was a negative experience, a person that I really hated because of what he talked about all the time, who's now executed, named Gary Hodnick. He was killing women, taking their skin and making dresses out of. But this is who they refer to in Silence of the Lamb. And this is who they threw me in with. And I had to make the adjustment to live as this type of individual. And they did it on purpose. In fact, I was in a program when they started in the penitentiary. It was called Behavior Modification. And because I couldn't get along with people like him, they were telling me, well, you're maladjustable. You can't adjust. You belong in solitary. I said, no, I don't belong with no one like this. I never done nothing like this. In fact, what he done is so foreign to me and so abstract that I can't even relate. And I'm telling you now, if we come face to face, he knows the conclusion and I know the conclusion. But what I'm trying to say is, you know what ambivalence is?
I do.
Well, the system deals with ambivalence. They're drawn to and torn from certain people. And I met people in the staff there that were drawn to me, people that were torn from me because I was a no-nonsense individual. I had to be no-nonsense. I went there when I was 17. I left there when I was 50-something.
Gerald, we're going to stop right there and come back to part 2 because we have quite a story to finish on the People Chronicles with Gerald Mayo. I'm Jackie Hoffman, and we'll be right back.